Hello, this is Nikke and it's been a while since I uploaded my last video. If you are asking why, well, I'm just too lazy. I'm too lazy because I've been busy playing a lot of these games lately. And oh my god, I lost! So for today's video, I will review every anime mobile games that I have played to some extent so that I can talk about one or two things on why this game is better than the other and why this particular game sucks. Gacha these days has improved a lot from the traditional gacha machine to digital games that showcase their own uniqueness and their gacha system. From this machine to this. Get some fucking help! Since when sexualizing a JPEG become a normal thing? Before I give my opinion about all of those games, I want to make a reminder that this is solely for entertainment purposes only and take this video with a grain of salt. And also, I'm not even sponsored to make this review, so this is based on my honest review of the game. So, without further ado, let's jump to the first game. I found this to be one of the most plot-twisting games I have ever played. I was expecting to see a nice and happy story, doesn't have to be that heavy but still entertaining to follow. But holy balls, I wasn't expecting the story plot will be so complex as the story goes on. It gets pretty dark, along with some solid character progression, makes this game shines. When you are really into the story, a lot of scenes could be a puzzle pieces that you can put together in the end. And it makes the games more beautiful than ever. What's great about this game is the soundtrack, which is full of a banger playlist. You will never get bored hearing this song every time you load the game. Even when you do the gacha, sit in the main lobby, or watch the story, the theme song along with it is so fucking good. And I think this is the only game so far as I know that has an auto-speech AI that could say and pronounce your in-game nickname impressively. Characters in this game looks good, but jaw-dropping at the same time? Is this even allowed on YouTube? Each character has a unique personality, and I love how characters are classified with their school's identity. Like for example, Trinity or Abydos. It just sounds cool to say those badass names. Now, for the gameplay, I think it's fine. It's not the best, and it's not bad either. But still amusing enough to watch those characters shoot each other. And god damn, it makes your device hit so much to the point where I can iron my clothes with it. The gacha in this game is pretty much okay. It's not a pay-to-win game, but the gacha rate is so low that most of the players rather do the rate off instead. I think this game is perfect for you who want to find some new ideas or looks in gacha games. Now, how should I describe this? This game is actually a music company, not a game. They've even got a whole album for it, like what the fuck? You've gotta be kidding me if you're telling me this is not from a music studio company or something. But to be serious, if you ask about what is Arknights, it's the modification of a regular tower defense. There are classes that make the game more strategic and players can make their own composition of a team. Also, these stages require the player to think about where they want to put their operator to a specific place, or troubleshoot their problem even though most likely they will finish the stage without even knowing what they just do. Or just watch Question V to make your life easier. Story in Arknights is unbelievably darker than I thought. There are some character that has a fucking messed up background story, like really messed up. The world is in chaos, everything being manipulated by power and politics. The dialogue is sometimes hard to read because apparently Shakespeare made the script. But overall, the story is pretty good. Grinding in this game is a freaking nightmare, like really, you could better off doing something productive while waiting for every single stage to be finished. The stage for the grinding itself isn't that annoying, but it is just time consuming. Let's move on to the gacha. This game is not that pay to win. You can finish some of the most difficult stages with pretty much some basic agent or regular SSR agent. So, gacha in this game is pretty much balanced. The thing that might interest you to spend your money in this game is to buy some waifus or husbandos and their costume as well. These characters and their costumes is one of the greatest humanity has ever created. But just to be sure, this is a music production company, not a game. Honkai Impact. I have to say, this game was revolutionary when it came out at the time. I also think this was the time when gacha games evolved. The first gacha game that managed to make 3D anime action games compatible on a smartphone. It is crazy to think that this game was being developed by 7 people at the start to 200 employees in 2018. And now this developer has become a AAA game company. This game is so much fun to play. The combat system is very intuitive, responsive, agile, and fast. Motion in this game is so smooth to the point it will crash your device if you are playing on minimum specs. There are so much to do in this game that makes you forget you've been playing this game for an entire day. From bosses, stages, upgrading, to gacha. The developer know what the player wants, and the entire fanbase are also pretty loyal to the game. Story in this game is pretty similar to Evangelion. Well, mostly because they take inspiration from the series itself. But it still keeps its own appeal and makes the story more compelling to the player. Now, gacha in this game. The way I should describe it is that they are kind enough to send a real physical product to their player. They are pretty generous when it comes to gacha. If you don't mind a little bit of grinding, I think it's pretty worth it to pull your beloved waifu. Even though I like this game a lot, this game is still far from perfect. One of the reasons why I stopped playing this game is the event. Every week there is a new event to the point where I cannot catch them all at once. And I hate how they attract a newer player to the game. It's pretty disappointing, especially for their older player. Some characters are being announced as free to the newer player. That makes the effort of the older player who were grinding to get those characters felt meaningless. At least it is still a fun game that I will revisit twice a year. I'm pretty sure Twitter is going to make a fuss if I give one or two opinions about this game. Genshin Impact is one of those games that I really like at the start, but it gradually makes me tired from playing the game. You are just repeating the same activity every time you log into the world if you already reached the endgame. And to be fair, every gacha games are pretty much the same, but in Genshin, it just feels more repetitive than the others. The grinding in this game is pretty tiring, especially when it comes to primo gems and getting a good artifact. Every Genshin F2P player will rejoice if there's some chance the developer gives a player free primo gems. Also, getting a good artifact in this game, it's time consuming and repetitive. It's not impossible to get it, but when you get the artifact that you wanted in the first place, you still need to do the gacha on the artifact stats, which is so frustrating if you don't have the luck to do it. Now, let's talk about world exploration in this game. At first, it's so much fun. Visiting places at the edge of the map, investigating some ruins, and suddenly you encounter new enemies in the area. Those things are very fun to encounter at first. But when you are already familiar with the environment, you just keep seeing places you've already been to, fighting the same encounter over and over and over again. And then you start repeating again your previous daily basis. Even though I talk a lot of negative things about this particular game, I actually like this game a lot. The scenery, lore, characters, exploration, combat, and the bosses. These are my main reasons why someone should try playing Genshin Impact. No other anime games that will give you excitement at the start of your journey like this one. Main story that draws you into the depth that makes you part of the game universe. Or a big giant creature soaring through the sky. That was fucking awesome. So I completely understand if there is someone who really likes this game a lot because it is indeed a good game. Except for the dialogue, it was a fucking disaster to go through. This game is pretty popular in Japan. Fun fact, the story in this game is being made by one and only Jun Maeda. If you aren't familiar with Jun Maeda, maybe you will be more familiar with his works like Angel Beats, Charlotte, The Day I Became a God, and Clannad. If you know those animes like a fine wine, you already realize what kind of plot it is going to be. The story is all about a world where it becomes chaos after some mysterious monster appears and forces humanity to the edge of extinction. With a little time left before extinction, humanity successfully created a weapon called Seraph, which can only be used by girls. They are the only hope for humanity to survive. The concept of this game is pretty unique. They implement one of the most interesting map exploration and dialogue systems that I've never seen before. You can only move right, left, and forward. But god damn, the scenery when you walk through the academy looks freaking gorgeous. And the music is perfection. The music elevates the game more by enhancing the player's mood. Dialogue in this game is really good. Like, the voice actors are doing their job at best. Most of the time when you play a gacha game, some interaction between one or more than two characters feels kinda off, like they are just reading a script or something. Also, the game has a unique option choice to progress a dialogue, and it feels more intuitive. For example, you can drag one option onto another to make a full sentence of a dialogue. Combat in this game is a turn-based type. It's fine, like what do you expect from a turn-based game? One of the best things that this game has to offer so far is that you can play a fucking tiger in this game. What the fuck is this? You can download this game on Steam and it is free, so try it if you are interested, but it is still in Japanese language. Who doesn't know this legendary game? Most of you probably knew this game already, but if you are the small percentage of people who still don't know about this game, I'll explain it quickly to the point that you need to reconsider your choice again if you are interested to play the game. So, the overall story is basically we are jumping into another dimension of time to fix that certain timeline, but it turns out we are actually destroying an entire nation just to get a 10-time pull gacha. The gacha here is pretty terrible, especially for F2P player. But don't worry, even if you do top up in the game, it is so expensive might as well mortgage your entire house to drop some fucking PNG that is literally a copy-paste character from the original version, but in different classes. And there is more. And there is no better feeling when you fight the bosses with a million health that you never beaten because of some bullshit happening in the end. So, interested to play Fate Grand Order? I already uninstalled it. Someone has to say it. It feels like I'm playing the DLC version of Genshin Impact. If we compare it to the other franchise, this game doesn't give me those feelings like I'm playing a new game. The UI is pretty much the same as Genshin along with the teleport system implemented into it. Open world system here has a similar vibe to the open world level in Honkai Impact, except whenever you hit an enemy, it's now turn-based, not slash and dash. And they are back with a game where you cannot skip the dialogue just like their previous. Look, I may compare it a lot with other games that Hoyo first made, and some can argue that there is nothing wrong with copying their own games. But Hoyo First, as far as I know, has a track record where they release projects with innovation and new ideas. Gun Girl Z, Tears of Themis, Honkai Impact, and Genshin Impact have their own vibe, and you can differentiate all of them just by playing it. Even Luminova, that it's still classified as an ongoing project, looks so impressive and unique. So, Honkai Star Rail didn't click to me what's unique about it. A lot of people say that their turn-based system is pretty much different than any other turn-based games. I'll be honest with you, it feels the same to me, like there is nothing new or exciting about it. But if I can point out what's good about this game, it's the props named Trash Can. You should explore the world and try to click every trash can or dumpster you can find if you understand why I adore it so much. Not to mention the street lamp that has a grudge against the player, making this game 100% more entertaining. Also, the story really improved, especially with their side story. Main story, it's like you are watching a movie. But side story is where you see some of the best interaction with an NPC in a video game. You are forced to make some of the most difficult decisions just to finish an entire side story. And it's more fun than doing the main story because you never know if the plot is going to be the same or more amusing than the previous one. Just don't talk about the gacha. If you already suffered the gacha rate from Genshin, you'll suffer more here. This game... Sorry. Let me correct myself for a second. This porn game might be the most confusing thing I've ever played in my entire life so far. One of the twists is that they really focus on the fan service side, like too much that I somehow become attached to this game lately. Yes, I'm a man too, damn it! Aside from the fan service aspect, the gameplay is pretty much amusing. Environment and bosses in this game is one of the most badass things I've encountered. Like, you could fight at the winter or at the desert, but still makes the surroundings feels like a wasteland. There's a level that blew my mind when I first played the game, where you need to finish a boss that literally has a size of a city. How cool is that? And also, this game doesn't require some sort of energy to be played. The only thing that stops you from playing this game is either you get bored of it or you already finish all the grinding for the day because there is nothing to do except wait until the day passes. Talking about grinding, this game doesn't take you much of your time to grind, but if there is one thing that kinda annoys me is that this game doesn't give you enough resources. Now let's talk about the gacha. It's trash. I don't even want to remember about the incident where I wasted 30,000 diamonds for some jetpack that I don't even get in the end. At least there's a way for an F2P player to do free gacha here and there. Waifus in Nikkes are surely the best and the main attraction of this game. When all the game makes a war on which characters are going to be the meta, Nikke's meta is only the bouncier the ass, the better the character will be. The only thing that breaks Nikke's overall meta is fucking pilgrims. If you have Nikkes from the pilgrims, you will likely be playing the game on easy mode. Especially if you get the one and only Scarlet. This motherfucker's ult is banishing the entire race of a planet. This character is so broken that the only weakness this character has is the reload time and how hard it is to obtain. But hey, at least he has a nice tie though, so I'm not complaining that much. So that's it for my review. Keep in mind that this is for entertainment purely. If there is some joke or some review that doesn't make sense or correlate with the actual game, remind me in the comment and tell me what's your actual impression of the game, since some of you have already played the games that I have mentioned in this video. And if you want me to do part 2 of this review, please let me know as well in the comment because there are so many gacha games that look fun to be played and to be reviewed as well. But until then, I'll take my leave and I will come back with some videos in the future. Thank you guys for watching and this is Nikke. Bye!